But first, tonight, we're simplifying Rhode Island's pension crisis for all Rhode Islanders, taking an in-depth look at what it means for taxpayers, state workers, and retirees. Let's give you a live look inside the State House right now, where you can see General Treasurer Gina Raimondo and Governor Montecalve, who's to her left. They're presenting their plan to the General Assembly to overhaul the state's pension system. Now, Governor Chafee spoke before the joint session of the General Assembly just moments ago, and here's what he had to say.
This august body before me solved the credit union crisis. You solved the workers' compensation crisis. And I'm confident that this body is up to the challenge of solving today's pension crisis.
WPRI.com reporter Ted Nesi has been covering the state pension crisis for months now and has come up with a Pensions 101 guide to the crisis. Now, the subject, obviously, Ted, can be very confusing. So what's the basic explanation of what's going on here?
Well, it is boiled down pretty simple, Mike. It's a math problem. The state has promised billions of dollars in pension benefits to government employees, but as you can see up there on the screen, we don't have enough saved. In the state-run system, there's a $7.3 billion shortfall, and at the local level, there's another $2.1 billion shortfall. That's $9.4 billion in a state, more than the annual state budget, which is only about $8 billion, so it's a lot of money.
We're talking about a lot of cash, $9.4 billion. Why should Rhode Islanders care about the situation?
You know, this is a pitch that Treasurer Raimondo has made often, which is that the government only has a limited amount of money, and there's a number of ways this could affect them. It could result in higher taxes to cover the burden. They might have to shift state spending so that they can put more money into the pension fund, and that leaves less for other priorities like schools and libraries and health spending. So it really affects everyone. What
are some of the key points or suggestions from the General Treasurer and the Governor?
I actually just came back from the State House where we got a briefing, and there's four main things they're going to be looking at. The first is COLAs, cost of living adjustments. That's the annual increase in the value of a pension. That would be suspended for some retirees as long as 19 years until the system is better funded. They want to change the retirement age so that it matches Social Security. That would go as high as 67. They want to create a hybrid plan. That would combine a guaranteed benefit with an account like a 401k. And finally, reamortization, which just means stretching out the length of time we're going to take to pay down the unfunded liability.
You know, Tim, we might kind of know the next one, but how do workers and retirees and even the union feel about all of this?
It's probably just what you expect, Mike. They are not happy. There's going to be fierce opposition. There already is to this, especially the freeze in the cost of living adjustments, those COLAs. But there's really something in this bill to anger every public sector union in Rhode Island, from the COLAs to the new requirements that locally run plans, which are independent, now file things with the state that would require them to have a plan to shore that up. That could mean changes at that level, too.
You know, Ted, you've been writing about this and covering this for months. In the end, where do you think this is really going to go, in your opinion?
Well, you know, I've been one of the only reporters in Rhode Island who thought something might get done. In some ways, I think because I'm younger. I know we've seen this happen over and over where they said they were going to change it and they wouldn't. But at this point, the math is what it is. The bill is going to skyrocket next year for these pension contributions. I think the General Assembly is going to have to do something to change that.
Okay, Ted, thank you. WPRI.com reporter Ted Nesi. Now, for more on his Pension 101 guide, you can go to WPRI.com. And coming up new at 6, our in-depth coverage on the state's pension crisis will continue. We have the latest information on the General Treasurer and Governor's plan, as well as reaction from union members. And in less than 2 hours, General Treasurer Gina Raimondo will be joining Tim White and Ted Nesi live in our studio for a special primetime edition of Newsmakers. The Pension Crisis, a primetime Newsmaker special, airs at 7:30 right here on WPRI 12. Treasurer Raimondo presents her pension reform plan in depth and answers taxpayer questions sent in to us.